जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Nitya Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaura Hari Bol. Sri Sri Gaurita ki, Sri Sri Radhola Bhagwan ki, Sri 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 Jagannath Subhadramaya ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitya Gaur Pramande. Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7. This Canto 7 is also called as Science of God. Then the chapter number 7, the title of the chapter is What Prahlad Learned in the Womb. And our today's verse is number 44. And so when we look at this verse, in general, this talks about, futility of body and its identification. In particular, today's verse is talking about body has many connections. And are they real? What is the futility? What is the use? So that is the focus of today's verse. Before we get into the verse, let's invoke auspiciousness. Let's pray to Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah, again, so we're reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 7, then verse 44. So this verse 44 is very unique in this world. So we have this body, that's what we identify. Then body has connection. And so clearly this verse is discussing about the relationship, their nature, temporary or permanent, what it is. So we'll understand this by going through this verse. So first we read, word by word. Actually, this today's class is supposed to be given by Karunanidhi Prabhu. So we'll try to follow the style of Karunanidhi Prabhu. Karunanidhi Prabhu usually he picks up, we read word by word, then we become comfortable, then we can read each line at a time, so that together becomes a verse. Kim u Vaivahita Aptaya Dhara Agara Dhana Adaya Raja Kosha Gaja Amtaya Vrataya Aptaha Mamata Aspadaha Kim u vivatahi aptaya. Kim u vivatahi aptaha. Daragraha dhanaha adaya. Daragraha dhanayadaya. Rajakosha gajamrataya. Rajakosha gajamtaya. Vrattaya aptaya mamata aspadaha. Vrattaya aptaya mamata aspadaha. Kim yuvayita aptaya. Daragraha dhanaha adaya. Rajakosha gajamrataya. Vrattaptaya mamataspadaha. Kim yuvayita aptaya. Daragraha dhanaha adaya. Rajakosha gajamrataya. Vrattaptaya mamataspadaha. Kim uvayhita aptaya. Daragraha dhanadaya. Rajakosha gajamataya. Vrattaptaya mamataspadaha. Kimu vayita aptaya. Daragraha dhanadaya. Rajakosha gajamtaya. Vrattaptaya mamataspadaha. Any of you? Mataji's. So now we'll read word to word translation. Kim u, what to speak of? Vaivahita, separated. Aptaya, children. Dara, wives. Agara, residences. Dhana, wealth. Adaya, and so on. Raja, kingdoms. Kosha, treasuries. Gaja, big elephants and horses. Amtaya, ministers. Bratta, servants. Aptaha, relatives. Mamatas-padaha, false seats or abodes of intimate relationship. Translation translated by Srila Prabhupada ki. Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stool or earth, what is the meaning of the paraphernalia related to the body, such as wives, residences, wealth, children, relatives, servants, friends, kingdoms, treasuries, animals, and ministers? They are also temporary. What more can be said about this? So this verse has no purport. So let us read the next one, and there is small purport. So just in English translation. All this paraphernalia is very near and dear as long as the body exists. But as soon as the body is destroyed, all the things related to this body are also finished. Therefore, actually one has nothing to do with them. But because of ignorance, one accepts them as valuable. Compared to the ocean of eternal happiness, they are most insignificant. What is the use of such insignificant relationship for the eternal living being? Purport: Krishna consciousness, that is devotional service to Krishna, is the ocean of eternal bliss. In comparison to this eternal bliss, the so-called happiness of society, friendship, and love is simply useless and insignificant. One should therefore not be attached to temporary things. One should take to Krishna consciousness and become eternally happy. Om Ajnanatimindasya Jnananjala Salakaya Chaksurulmidam Ena Tasme Sri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapadaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namini Namaste Suraswadevi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachata Deshatarini Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktabanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So just reading the translation again. Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stool or earth, what is the meaning of the paraphernalia related to the body, such as wives, residences, wealth, children, relatives, servants, friends, kingdoms, treasuries, animals, and ministers? They are also temporary. So what more can be said about this? So this chapter, what Prahlad had learned in the womb. So far we already went through 43 verses. The first few verses were primarily establishing who we are and what are the characteristics of us. So primarily identifying, so we are soul and the nature of soul. Then of course the nature of soul and its connection with the Supreme Lord, that is Super Soul. So very detailed discuss earlier verses. Then of course the last 3-4 verses primarily focused on the mindset of materialistic person. Although Prabhupada has discussed so nicely about the soul, the qualities of soul, and then the super soul and the relationship. So later on he turned towards this body. So from the perspective of a materialistic mindset. So in, for example, verse number 41, so here it talks about how a person thinks himself very advanced in intelligence. So therefore, what do? The focus is on economic development. So artha, so a bit less on dharma, but mostly focus on economic development. And through economic development, so we can think, the person thinks, okay, we can diminish the problems of this world. So problems can be, related to, ahara. So with big population, sometimes we think, okay, there is not sufficient food, so we have to develop advanced technology so that we can grow and people can live sufficiently happily. Then they can live in a better house, because in places like Melbourne or some other country, the weather is very, flickery. Sometimes too cold, sometimes too hot. So therefore, we want to advance so that we can mitigate the trouble that we are getting from external agencies. So that is was also discussed. Then of course, yesterday's verse was primarily focused on so how we make so many plans. A person with this material mindset makes so many plans, creates so many projects, so that they can have a great, become highly successful, become highly advanced in eating, and of course highly advanced in defending. And if you open up newspaper regularly, you will see how different countries are claiming advancement in terms of creating, missiles that are guided. The missile can be guided, even though the person may be in one country, one continent, and they can precisely guide that missile to hit the target in another continent. So those are called as guided missiles. So sometime, we hear in newspaper, nuclear weapons, America want to export to Australia. Australia says, we are nowhere less. We can also create special weapons and we can export to America. And if you read the last 1 week newspapers, so that is about defending, so that we can rule the world. So today's verse talked about kingdom also. When we have a body, so we have a nation where we are living. So we are a continent. We have a continent where we are living. And of course, finally, earth is things belong to us. Then therefore, there are other things, other planets in relation to earth or above earth or below earth. Maybe you also want to rule over them also. So that is why we have got various missions, Mars mission, and then Chandrayana mission. Even India is also no less. So India just recently, just few days ago, they launched Chandrayana 3. There were earlier also Chandrayana, that is travel to Chandraloka. So sometime, they're successful, sometime they failed. So successful means just go there, possibly collect some few photos, then come back. Or collect some stone, some mud, and find out how much gold is there. Because gold is depleted. In Victoria, there was a lot of gold in, Bendigo, not Bendigo. Yeah, Ballarat. So now there is no gold. So it became a tourist spot. So we all are very curious to see how people have gone inside the deep earth, then collected particles, then extracted gold out of it, then made this Victoria rich and built Melbourne. So that is how Melbourne became prosperous, and that's why we are here. Yeah. So like this, technology advancement in different areas. Then of course further advancement towards interplanets, not just within Earth. We are not satisfied. So we want to advance further and go to moon planet and find out either a water. So either oxygen. These are so important, correct? These are so fundamental. So is moon planet illuminated or is it dark? We need to know either a light, either a water, either oxygen, at least these three things. And of course we also want to know whether that earth, is it fertile? If you go there, we can't only survive based on water. Or even if you find a gold, we can't survive by eating gold. We need earth that is fertile. We can grow apple, we can grow mangoes, we can grow other things. So this way we can survive. So these are exploration going on. These are scientific exploration or mission of countries. So that is advancement. And of course, there are many plans to make even the body comfort. So you can see regularly more and more inventions are coming up in terms of heating, in terms of making them cold, and also then we don't want to, we have become so lazy that we don't want to turn on heater or turn off cold or air conditioner. We want those heaters and air conditioners to become smart. And how can we make them smart? And we can give them, we think we are very smart, very intelligent. So we also want to give that intelligence to those material things. And this is where this new thing called artificial intelligence. You heard about this AI. Everywhere you hear AI. So they say AI will take over the world. What does it do? It will do the work that we are doing. Correct? After the class is over, so somebody will clean the temple. So in future we'll have somebody, robot, they will come and clean up after you go there. Sometimes it is very difficult to convince devotees, they may be busy, weekdays difficult to get them to clean the temple. So we can employ the robot. That's what advancement is. So this, the machine, along with the human intelligence, whatever you got, they're codified. So that is called artificial intelligence. So with artificial intelligence, the machine itself will know, oh, now there is nobody in the house. Let me turn off myself. How does it do? It will see possibly your movement, or it knows where you are. Because you have mobile phone. These days, mobile phone is like our companion. Usually when we say companion, sometime wife or husband is a companion. But now, mobile phone has become a companion. We can survive without wife or without husband, but we can't survive without mobile phone. And this mobile phone also knows where you are. So, and this can communicate to your fridge, you can communicate to your air conditioner and tell you when to turn on, when to turn off. So this way we can possibly reduce energy consumption. This is another hype. So this is a lot of advancement we see. But they all are going to frustrate. And you will see today's verse is talking, and the next one also, frustration. Then of course, the last statement of yesterday's one, that this body is perishable body. So body is perishable, but this living entity, that the real you, the real life force is attached to that body, and the moment it leaves, the body is finished. So perishable means temporary. So perishable, anything that is perishable has a time. Okay, the life of this, this laptop, correct, is not eternal. Once I buy it, so earlier they used to say within 3 years you have to replace to a new laptop. That's why I got electronic waste. And now people are doing big research on how to manage this waste. And they're getting big prize also for managing waste management. So recycling waste, so that we can create new things out of recycled things. Anyway, so just like this, everything has got its lifespan of 3 years, 5 years, and every body that living entity acquires also has a lifespan. And we have studied this also very nicely, that every living entity is given 100 years. The 100 years of one living entity is different from other in terms of time frame. So for example, ant lives for maybe 4 weeks, 20 days, 25 days. That is its 100 years. And within that period of that 20 days or 25 days, it will do everything. It will take birth, appear, then it will grow slowly, correct? It grows from childhood to boyhood grows. Then it of course becomes youth and strong. So then it will get married. These days no marriage, just found a spouse. Then of course produce byproduct, then finally finished. So this is 6 changes that happens with everything. Similar whether it's an ant or a human or an elephant or a mouse, correct? So how many of you seen mouse? Very good, very nice. If you have not seen, just go to paraphernalia room. Just go inside, you will see some sound is coming, you can find a mouse. Yeah, sometimes you keep a bag. By mistake, sometimes devotees have a habit of putting some Mahaprasada in the bag, a special Mahaprasada, and keep there. And these mouses go inside and you take that bag and go home and the mouse will come with you. Correct? So the house which may be not having mouse, you can carry a mouse from Radha Vallabha's paraphernalia. It will be, I think, more of a devotee mouse. Yeah, maybe it won't give you that much trouble. But anyway, you never know. They can change also. So all these living beings, so they all have this, the real, that is soul, the real life force. But the moment this body separates, this is was here, the word, Vavhavita. Vavhavita. The moment this body is separated from the soul, what is the use of all the things associated with the soul, that body? Correct? So let's say I am. So in my case, the moment my soul is separated, what is left is this body. And what are the bodily things? Obviously, the house in Albert Park, correct? Then the wife, then the children, then some bank balance. These days, actually, we don't have much bank balance. What we have is loan. So we take lot of loan from different banks. Then buy many properties, not only the residence, but also investment properties. Correct? So balance is less, very less. So, but the loan is there. The loan. Then of course we also have the work. So before we get a job, we also have education. Correct? So high birth, high parentage, high education. So education also. So like our Prabhu, Gopandas Prabhu also has education, I also have education. Similar in materially, like PhD. So we study from primary school just like our kids are studying in Middle Park. Then some are going to Albert Park and some are going to, Melbourne University. Correct? And here in this room, at least there are 3 persons who have got a degree from Melbourne University. Some have got research degrees, some have got master degrees, some have got coursework, bachelor, some have got PhD, some have philosophy, master philosophy, doctor philosophy, all these titles we have got. Then of course that is a job in education. Then after education there is a title, a professor or a CEO of a company or a software engineer. All of this finished. And so what is the use? What to speak of those, the moment the body is separated. And here we see, aptaya, children. The moment body is separated. So what can we speak about children? Aptaya. Then dara, wife. Okay, so in previous ages maybe you can have multiple wives, but now only one wife. Okay, so wife. Then residence, agraha. Then dhana, wealth. The wealth, that is investment property. The wealth, investment in share market. Correct? People invest in share market, very common. Then this retirement fund, superannuation. Then adaya. Adaya is all the benefits. So people ask you, how much your adaya? Means you are doing some business. If the business is only making loss, it is of no use. It must produce some benefits, income. Not only income, profit. So this adaya. So this adaya here in Prabhupada says, and so on. So then after that, Rajya, kingdom, Rajaya. So if you are a very highly successful businessman, you possibly have many companies in one country, or you have in multiple countries. So in Australia, the big business people are generally mining barons, those who are expert in mining this earth and extracting radioactive material, extracting gold, extracting iron ore, then sending it to China, sending it to some other country. That's how country is making big money. So this is one of the biggest income producer for Australia. So this kingdom, then kosha. The moment you have got such a kingdom, then of course kingdom will have many followers, and then you have a kosha. Even the country level there is a treasury, Australian treasury. So treasury agent is ATO, Australian Taxation Office. He will come after you. Okay, you are earning this money, you give me 45%. Okay, no problem, you are earning a bit less, you give me 30%. Correct? Or you are earning only more than 18,000, no problem, keep that with you. Just take care, don't become a headache to us. Correct? If you are not earning anything but you are becoming a headache, we will give you some money to keep you quiet. Yeah, so all this, treasury is used. Then Gaja, big elephant. The moment you are a Raja, king of this kingdom, you want to go from one place to other place. In the previous ages, people used to have a, elephant to carry them, Gaja. But nowadays they have got, not elephant, but they have got personal jet, dedicated jet. So if you become a Prime Minister country, so you don't take a ticket in this Qantas or like this to come to Sydney, from Melbourne to Sydney or Canberra to Sydney, Melbourne. You don't come that way. So you take your own private jet. Correct? So that is why they say if country's Prime Minister goes from one country to other country, they say, oh, this fellow is spending taxpayer money of crores. Usually that's what they say. Then we think, oh, why are they spending millions just to go to one country and come back? Because they are not going alone. So the Prime Minister won't go alone. So he will go with his ministers, paraphernalia, with the ministers. And not only ministers, he will also take some successful businessmen with them. Say, for example, when this Prime Minister Modi came to Australia, at that time he didn't come alone. He came with some few ministers. Then he also came with few business people who can make some deal with Australian government, other people to find out where they can dig very nicely to get some extract and export to India. Correct? So always we see people also fighting in Australia. Adani, they say, oh, we don't want Adani come to Queensland to dig near Govardhan place. Near Govardhan mountain, and their devotees are living. We don't want them to come there. We don't want to, so this is what people also fight. So this is going on all the time. So so Amritaya, Bhrataya, servants. Servants are not, easy to keep, especially in Australia. In Australia, we can't claim that we have got servants. Who has servants in the house? Correct? In Australia, we have, the moment you get up, you have to clean yourself. You have to clean all your pots. We can only have servant in temple. If there is a word called servant, it is only heard in temple, nowhere outside. Correct? So a person who will go and wash a pot. And cooking person is separate. The washing the pot washing person is separate. The person who will serve is different. And the person who will honor the prasad is also different. Correct? Most of the time, those who are honoring, they may not be the one who clean the pot. Okay? So servants. So servants are more easily available in countries where the economic advance is less. The moment economic advances increases, the moment the technology advances improves, servant will disappear. You go to any country which is economically highly advanced, they won't have servant in their house. Only few selected ones will have, but most of them won't have. But if you go to economically less developed countries, so there you will have servants. Go to India, you can afford to have a servant who can clean the cloth, who can clean your utensils. Possibly they can also make a meal for you, and they serve you also. Yeah, so these are very easily affordable in developing countries. The developed countries, what you can afford is technology. You can afford to buy a robot. You can afford to buy a vacuum cleaner. So those countries you can't afford to buy a vacuum cleaner. But here you can. So now that is what technology advancement. Furthermore, we said we want to have a robot that will do the work for us. Clean the house, cook the house, and give you massage. Now getting married is also very difficult. Finding a wife is difficult. They said you can now have a robot as your wife. Do you know that? That is a new advancement. Already people are selling. You can have a robot as a wife, a robot as a husband, and of course, the robot will be hopefully faithful. This is also important. And they also want to make this robot respond to your emotion. Look, we also have emotion. Sometimes, we are morose, sometimes we are angry, sometimes we are happy. So our better half knows your mood and accordingly act. Similarly, we also want robot also emotion, oriented. So these are so much of research is going on everywhere. And not only research, they are already producing. And, you can pay money and get a robot husband or a robot wife. So these are, you can see here, all these plans are being made, technology advancement, economic development, using our little brain, that is whatever little intelligence we got. Now, with that, all these acquisitions that we got, Prabhupada is saying that, what can be said about this? This means all this paraphernalia that we have got, what can we say about this? They are also temporary. First, body is temporary. That was previous verse establishes. And this verse establishes body is also, temporary. But obviously, although this is temporary, but this is also, a gift of God, the nature gift. Like we got human form. This is not came randomly. Correct? A soul acquired this body that looks like a human form with better intelligence. A soul acquires a body of a cat. A soul acquires a body of a pig. Or soul acquires body of a say mouse. All of them are acquired based on their nature. They want to enjoy certain way. So accordingly, the nature awards, of course, nature also is own, working under direction of someone else. The nature is also not working randomly. Nothing works random. So everything has some system of operation. And this is what, through our education, research, we are trying to find out how is this nature working? What are the forces behind? Then once we know that forces behind this nature, maybe we can manipulate and make this nature work the way we want. Right? This is a whole study of science, physics, chemistry. We are trying to understand what is the nature of all this liquid so that we can control. Oh, what is the nature of this mango juice? Okay, like this. Then now I can invent something so that the life of mango juice can be increased. Instead of the moment, or the mango itself. Okay, you have a mango, it is ripened. How long you can keep it in a fresh state? If you just leave it there, you will get, perished. But, okay, we understand the nature of this mango. Now, okay, if I put it in some kind of cold, I can keep it for 1 week. That is why we got even in our Radharani's kitchen, here in the kitchen, we got the cold room. So in cold room also, periodically we need to go and clear it up. Even though we put in cold room, the mango that are put there, so they are okay, stayed for 1 week or 2 weeks. After that, they also become old. Right? We are trying to keep them in a youthful, young state, first state. But after some day, they will also become old. Right? Cold room also has limit. So after some time, it has to be thrown away. Even though it is maintained source of cold, after period, it will also start, perishing, then smell will come. They say, get rid of this. Correct? One devotee will go regularly and clear it. So this is, the body is temporary, but this is a gift of Lord Krishna. Gift of nature, which is working under, rules and regulation of Supreme Lord. Correct? Prabhupada talks about, every country has one, leader. A house has a leader. A office has a leader. Temple has a leader. Correct? Temple also has a leader. Country has a leader. Everywhere we have got leaders. So similarly, there is a leader for this nature. Similarly, there is a leader for this entire universe. And like this multiple universe, there is a leader. And the highest leader, that final leader is what we call Supreme Personality of Godhead. Highest leader. Correct? All other leaders are working under the Supreme Leader. And that is Supreme God. And this is a gift. Now this paraphernalia that we talk about, how did they come together? So in previous chapter, Hiranyakashipu himself is giving this jnana to his mother and sister-in-law and other family members. When Hiranyakashipu was killed by Varadev, at that time, Mother Diti and the wife of Hiranyakashipu, so they were in morose, crying. Correct? You can see everywhere. So when the person, family member, near and dear one, passes away or dies, then we become sorrow and cry about it. At that time, he gives this gnana, almost Hiranyakashipu's Gita. So something like almost chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. So there he talks about, so he is saying, we are coming together just like people come to a restaurant. When you are going from one place to other place, on the way there is a restaurant. If you are going from Melbourne to Sydney by drive car, on the way you can't drive this 10-hour continuous, correct? We get tired. What do we do? So they will show, here is something, entertainment place, a rest place, a restaurant. You go there. You go to a restaurant, you will see hundreds of people. So you see hundreds of people, correct, together. Then after half an hour or so, they depart. They go to their different destination. So similarly, this Hiranyakashipu is saying to Mother Diti that, all of us are living entities are coming together temporarily, just like we assemble in a restaurant. So then after some period, we depart and go to different places. Another analogy also given. So you go to even this beach here only, just nearby beach. So you walk on the, on the beach like this. You will find some places, collection of sticks come together by waves. Waves is by waves. They are all moving around. Then finally they all come together. And you will see so many of them together. After some period again they disperse. They go away. This you also can see in Albert Park, that lake. You go to that lake, many stars together with you, they come together, they assemble in one place. Then after some period, they disperse. You go to Yara River, correct? Yara River in the city. So in Hare River also, the water stream is flowing, and some places, like a whirlpool, like water is running around. Then all these straws come together, stay together for some period. After some period, they disperse. And it is very rare possibility that they again come together, the same straws. In the same way, all these paraphernalia of the body, that is our wife, or a children, or relatives, or the servants, the animal that we keep. So in cities we don't keep animal, unfortunately. No, they keep dogs, correct? You walk here in Albert Park street, you will see the dogs. Dogs are also residents of Albert Park, houses, correct? So they are also living in a posh, expensive place. Yeah, so there are, many of these are there. So all of them, some temporary arrangement, they come together, stay together for a couple of years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years maximum. Then this real you leaves, Vyavahita, separated. Then the rest is all finished. Correct? So what is finished is all those paraphernalia, the things or connection associated with the body is finished, but not you, real you. So that was discussed, who is the real you, that is soul. So that was earlier. Of course, this body is temporary. This doesn't mean that we ignore it. So, Manava Janma Dhoddadu. In Prahlad Maharaj also said earlier, this Manava Janma is very rare. Manava Janma Durlabha. Durlabha means rare, not easily obtainable. So, this Janma is very rare. And we must use this Janma, this birth in human form of life, to achieve highest perfection of life. Our highest goal of life. All of us want success. Why don't we aim for the highest success? All these successes, becoming a king of a place, that is, becoming a king. The moment you king means the kingdom, the king, you become a king. Then the moment you are a king, you have ministers who will assist you. You have servant that assist you. You also have family members, relatives, aptas, other collaborators, other friendly kingdoms with you. All of these people are there. But the moment you leave the body, everything finished. Correct? They are temporary. So they are temporary. But however, we can't ignore them. Just like we can't ignore body. Body is a gift of God. Correct? This human form of life. Any body is a gift of God, a gift of nature. According to our past mentality or a karma, we got this body. Now we have to make our mission successful. Everything has a mission. Correct? So making the life mission successful. So therefore it is very important that we take care of this body too. So that is why we also have got yoga. Hatha yoga. Then of course, so various medicine to take care of this body. So body also has to be taken care nicely. It's a gift of God. We can't misuse the body. So preferably use the body as for the, the gift, as for the construction of the body. So Krishna gives how to use this body so that you can fulfill life mission. Then what about bodily associates? So these, just because they are temporary, say for example, mother has a child, so we can't ignore them. We also have to take care of them. The moment we become a father or a mother, so we have a responsibility. Since we are responsible for, say their appearance, not fully 100%, but at least we are also responsible along with the nature, along with the Supreme Lord. So we are responsible. So we are entrusted to take care of them so that they also become successful. So we need to take care of their physical well-being, providing them shelter, providing them food, but not overdo it. Sometimes people say, oh, you are now 16. The moment you turn, 15 to 16 or 17, we will buy you a Tesla car. We heard about this. People promising, get well, I will get you one Tesla car. Correct? Yesterday we heard this statement. So we don't have to promise like that to these children. So our promise that, you now pass successfully this year, then you will get a Tesla car. So this is pampering. And with that mentality, if they grow up, correct? The moment they grow up, then they get married, establish themselves as an independent house. Then if they are not able to earn sufficiently to be able to maintain the Tesla car, they will be morose in their life. So we need to learn how to live within our means successfully. That is where contentment comes into picture. Satisfaction. So that is possible only when we are in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada says, the next verse, all these paraphernalia near and dear, they are as long as body exists. The moment body destroyed, all the things are finished. So therefore, one who is wise should not delight in temporary things. Lord Krishna also says, we are temporary body, or a person who is a wise should not labor hard so like a donkey 24 hours a day just simply to satisfy the senses. The wise person will not delight too much in temporary things. Correct? All the time simply satisfying the tongue. All the time putting all the effort simply to satisfy, nose or a eye or ear. Correct? Imagine you want to simply give entertainment to the eye and go on seeing all the movies of the world. You get frustrated. Yeah? So they don't delight in temporary things. What they look for is the one which is eternal. Correct? Within this body there is something eternal. The other things are temporary, they should be taken care so that they will help achieve that real goal, ultimate goal of our life. Then the things that are eternal, so it's like soul, that is we are eternal. And so the eternal duty of this soul is to be happy. No one wants to be unhappy. Everyone's goal is to be happy. But if you are trying to be happy with temporary things, their looks in the beginning like amrita. The later they become poison. The temporary things, in the beginning they taste amrita. And then if you are addicted to it, then later they become poison. Correct? So sometime, people say, oh, I am drinking wine, it's very good. You keep drinking. If you drink, you be addicted to it. Finally, it becomes poison. So they have to be regulated. Even in the food, even the sweet, for example, sugar, the sweet. You eat one sweet, very good rasgulla, and you eat maybe 2, 3. But every day if you eat 20 rasgullas, what will happen? It will become a poison. So you acquire special diseases such as diabetes and others. Then when you take this 5 rasgulla, the rasgulla won't, maybe a little tastier to the tongue. After that it will become poison. Poison. It will, give trouble to all other organs, liver and this and that, and they start failing. Then it's become a trouble. Yeah. So they have to be, as that. So therefore, the wise person doesn't delight in temporary things. So that is why, Prabhupada is saying that eternal happiness. So that is called Nitya Ananda. Eternal happiness, eternal enjoyment, eternal bliss. So therefore, the wise person, a human endowed with intelligence. Every living being has intelligence, by the way. Correct? The dog has some intelligence. Mouse also has intelligence. Correct? When you go in front of the mouse, you'll also try to do like this, so that you also jump. And then some are keep jumping, mouse is simply making them dance. Correct? So mouse can make you dance. How many of you have experienced this? Yeah, go in front of mouse, you do like this. Whether I should go left and right, you jump on. Because you are scared of mouse. Sometimes it happens in my house. So some family members are very scared of this mouse. So they are dancing, the mouse is also dancing. So mouse is having fun. Mouse is thinking, look, I am the controller of this house. I can make one who thinks as a home minister, I can make home minister dance for me. Yeah. So the more we are darpuk, fearful, they will make you dance. Yeah. So that is why Krishna Das says, Bhajahure mana Srinanda Nandana Abhay Chanara Vindare. Correct? He is saying that, mind, person, please take shelter of Srinanda Nandana. When you become a Krishna, you take a shelter of Krishna, then you become fearless. Because when you take a shelter of the most powerful person, you don't have to fear about any other small things. Right? Yeah, if you are in a very powerful place, so the police inspector of Victoria is your friend. The moment police inspector of Victoria is your friend, you don't have to fear about these small people, because they also know you are very connected to, such an inspector, Victoria's highest protector. So then other people will be careful with you. Similarly, when we take, shelter of Srinanda Nandana, lotus feet, so then we become fearless. So that is why talking about becoming Krishna consciousness. So when we become conscious of Krishna consciousness means becoming Bhakta. So we all are becoming devotee. We all are devoted. Everyone is a devotee. Devotee is a servant. Everyone is a servant actually. Who can claim a master role here? In the entire Australia, the Prime Minister is a master? No, he says, I am servant. I will serve you nicely. Please vote for me. So I will serve you nicely. Correct? You elect that person. Everyone is servant. If you become a CEO of a company, the job of the highest position of that company is to make sure that everybody is served nicely and they are happy. And the job of this Prime Minister is to make sure that everybody in the country is happy. And make sure that his ministers are happy. This is very important. If the ministers are unhappy, within a second they will remove you. Very easy in Australia. Correct? You heard about overnight. Today, Prime Minister some XYZ. Tomorrow morning, that person is no more Prime Minister. Midnight he cried, appealed to his minister, hey ministers, I will take care of you. I appointed you as a treasurer. I appointed you as a law minister. I appointed you as a home minister. And now all those ministers become against to you. They will become your enemy. So if you are not able to satisfy ministers, finished. If you are not able to satisfy your citizens, finished. Yeah, this is so nature. So that is why we have to take shelter of this Krishna, supreme satisfier. So of course here you say that this so-called happiness that we get through all this paraphernalia. So all are, compared to this ocean of bliss that you derive from becoming devotee of Lord Krishna, that is becoming our consciousness, Krishna consciousness, you derive all of those. And this is not only says, here in Gita, so all the devotees are saying, even the Adi Shankaracharya also says. The one of the most perfect Gnani, Gnana Yogi, he also says in Bhaja Govindam, he says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate Samprapte Sanihiti Kale Nahi Rakshiti Dukran Karani. He's saying that, oh fool, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda at last breath of life. Samprapte Sanihiti Kale. Sani near your end of life. At that time, nahi rakshiti dukran karane. Seeing that at the last breath of your life, at the far end, that last, second of your life, nahi rakshiti dukran karane. Your scholarship, your education will not save you. Your high birth will not save you. Your treasury will not save you. Your ministers will not save you. Your wife will not save you. Correct? None of them. Or sons. You might have a son who is a CEO of Google, for example. Yeah, you can have. For example, some people have got a son who became a CEO of Google or Microsoft, any of these. Correct? So many of these right now who all are ruling big companies, they all are born in India and then they have made themselves big name. Correct? Can they save anybody? No, none of them can save you. So your scholarship can't save you. So therefore, here Adi Shankaracharya says, take shelter of Govinda. Correct? Take shelter of Govinda. Then of course, we might amass huge wealth. Can our wealth save us? Maximum we can buy a tablet. Or we can employ a best doctor to try to cure us. But he will cure little to a certain extent. Then after that finished. Doctor will say, now you only have to pray to God. Hopefully he can save you. Correct? Doctors also say. So we can do within our means, but after that nothing can be saved. Even Adi Shankaracharya also, in Bhaja Govinda. So when you have this body, how long you can command respect? We all want respect. How long the body is respected? So here, so body is respected as long as you can provide support. As long as body is young, stout, strong, it can provide support to the family members. Imagine, you are not able to offer any support to family members. You are not working hard, not earning enough to provide means for their livelihood. What happens? No respect. And also, even if you have earned, a lot of money, with time, birth, growth, youth, old age, the moment you become old age and slowly, you can't really do any work. Can we? Correct? Our strength will be very less. We won't be able to do all the things that we used to do earlier. Right? Then you are bedridden, disease and bedridden. That time nobody cares. This is a known, problem. So hardly anybody comes and talks to you. When you are youth, very strong, everybody comes and talks to you. But the moment you become old, nobody talks to you. So that is why Adi Shankara is saying the reality. And the moment this soul leaves the body, that is, we call death. Correct? When the person is dead, the corpse, how long anybody spend time with the body? Even the wife will fear. When the person dies, what is left is a dead body, we say corpse. Correct? The dead body. They will cry about that body, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, a maximum 1 day. Then if you keep it in a house, how many people want to keep their dead husband or a wife for too long? They also become fearful. They say, get rid of this body quickly. So that's what happens. Fearful. This is the nature. So nobody, this is very, very clearly, said. So that is why after that body what happens? The first statement. Since the body itself is ultimately meant to become stool or earth. That means the moment body is dead, the person, when the living force is separated from the body, and that body is a dead body. What happens to that body? In some cultures, they bury the body. Correct? So Christians, you go to various, smashana, all these places where they are burying. So they are big, big places. So they bury the body. Even the Muslims also do bury the body. Yeah, of course, a person is highly elevated in Hindu culture, also bury the body. So you become part of the earth. That is number one. Next is your stool. Body will become a stool. What does it mean? The person is dead and thrown away in the forest. What happens to the body? All these jackals, crows, big, big bird, they all fly and come down and eat that body, dead body. Then after the eating, what happens? They will pass a stool. You go to some countryside or village side, when the cow is dead, or some buffalo is dead, or dog is dead, they will just throw it away. They don't take it to crematorium or bury nicely and honor it. They just throw it away. At that time, dogs will come and eat, they'll become stool. Then third, you'll become ash, bhasma, what we call. In crematorium, they burn the body. That's all. Body is a situation. So that is why, all these acharyas, teachers are talking about, yes, please take care of the body to the extent necessary. Don't overdo it. And also take care of bodily connections as necessary. But don't overdo it. Because if you have to work 24 hours and work all the time, and you have no time to even eat. Some people working so hard, managing big, big empires, but they don't have a time for lunch, time for breakfast. So that is why they call it the working lunch. You heard about working lunch? So lunch is organized, that is called working lunch. So you sit down and there you make some business deal and also try to eat something within that available 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And that is very short period. And all they give you in working lunch, just 2 pieces of bread, in between something inserted. That's it. That's the working lunch. You can have like that some 2 or 3. Right? So even after amassing so much of wealth, a richest person of Australia doesn't have time for eating. What is the use of working so much? As a result, you are not able to take care of body also properly. Body needs rest. Atyahara vyarasya. So we have to be regulated in our sleeping, regulated in working, regulated in our entertainment. We have to be regulated. Even working also, if you are working 24 hours and after some period person is finished, stress, they broke down. So this is very, very important. So that is why, like Adi Shankara says, Bhaje Govindam, Bhaje Govindam, Bhaje Govindam Muda Mate. He is saying 3 times, O Muda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda. Similarly, you also see a nice song, Bhajavure Mana, the one we saw, Bhajavure Mana, Sirendra Nandana, Abhay Chanara Vindare. So he is saying, Durlava Manava Janama Satasange. So this human life is very durlabha, very rare. So what should we do? Do satsanga. When you do satsanga, you develop divine qualities. And through that satsanga, so our consciousness become divine. So when the consciousness become divine, what happens? Our intelligence becomes, spiritual. Correct? So we have, when you see ourselves, this is a gross body, gross senses, inside a subtle body, that is mind, intelligence, and the little ego. Then the core is the soul. So this intelligence is the one which will direct our activity. So the intelligence can direct to material activity, can direct to spiritual activity. So when our consciousness becomes divine, Divine means Krishna conscious. Our consciousness of Sri Rama, consciousness of Narasimhadev. So when our consciousness becomes this divine, our intelligence becomes spiritual, not artificial. So these days we talk about artificial intelligence. But this intelligence becomes spiritual. Not just material intelligence to spiritual intelligence. When the intelligence is spiritual, what happens? Our intelligence spiritual is guiding the mind. So when the mind is guided by spiritual intelligence, the mind will be steady. Otherwise, mind will demand so many things. I want this, I want this, I want that. We may not need them also. I want it because my competitor has it. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. I need it because my other person has it. Correct? Our neighbor has it, our competitor has it. So like this, simply mind will demand so many things. Chanchala swabhava. Correct? So that mind will become steady. So when the mind is steady, obviously you will be very peaceful. The person is very disturbed. When does he disturb? Not peaceful at all. When the mind is, flickery. When the mind is steady, we will become peaceful. And when we are peaceful, we will be happy. Correct? So the goal is to become eternally happy. And that eternally happy we can become only when we connect with unlimited source of happiness. That is Sat-Chit-Ananda. Correct? Every living entity is Sat-Chit-Ananda, eternal. And it has some knowledge. And it is also blissful. But when we connect with unlimited blissful, we can draw as much as you need. So this is why becoming Krishna consciousness is the way to become happiness. If you are looking for happiness in life, become conscious of divine, become conscious of Krishna. So this way we can eternally be happy. Then of course the body is temporary. Use this body as a vehicle to achieve that goal. Just like you use a car, or an aeroplane. Okay, I want to fly from Melbourne to Delhi, then to go to Vrindavan, to reach Vrindavan. We are using that aeroplane. Or you use a car to come from home to Radha Vallabha Mandir. So similarly, our body is a vehicle that's given to us, the gift, and human form of body is rare. Among those 8.4 million possibilities, just one. One is like a lottery. Correct? If you invest $5 and you take a lottery, out of millions or millions, one person will get it. Similarly, out of millions and millions of living entities, you have this human form of life. This is a vehicle given, and this vehicle should be used in such a way that your ultimate goal is satisfied, and at the same time you are always happy, whether in this place or in other place. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he says, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. He says that I don't want this dhana, not follower, not beautiful wife. What I want, life after birth, I want bhakti. So he is seeking bhakti. So all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone, they are telling us what is real and how to make our life successful. Okay? So with that, let me conclude saying that this body connections are temporary, perishable, but they are the means through which you can achieve highest goal. Yeah. If you become a devotee, then you become successful. Not only you become successful, Narasimhadev is saying, Prahlad, you are born in family. Just because you are a devotee, because of you, several generations above you are delivered. That means you are best friend of all the relatives. All your father, grandfather, great-grandfather, whoever, all of those. So you are a best friend, you deliver them. Instead of their suffering somewhere, they also go to achieve highest destination just because of you. Yeah, both up and down also. Yeah, so this is highest perfection. So ourselves become perfect. Then also try to make others also, devoted. So these parents can generally can influence through their own qualities on their children to become devotees. Okay, so with that, let me stop here. Thank you very much. So take that mic so that others can hear.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the wonderful class. My question was, you said that we should always be in the servant of the devotee. But sometimes we see people outside, those who are not devotees, they take advantage of us, posing as because we try to be servants, so then they take advantage of us. And then, how do we understand that?
Yes. Dasanu dasa. Gopi Bharata Padakamaler Dasanu Dasu Dasa. So in spiritual discussion, we always become Dasanu Dasa. But when we go to our material conception, we become Basanu Basa. Right? Not just Basa. Become boss of boss. And become boss of that boss. That is the goal of material education, where the goal of spiritual education is to become Dasanu Dasa. Krishna says, anyone who claims as my servant, they are actually not my servants. In Gita, Lord Krishna says, those who claim themselves as my servant, they are not my servants. But those who are servants of my servant, they are very dear to me. Right? If you want to become dear to Supreme Lord, you become servant of that servant. Yeah. So this is actually opposite. That's why we say in material world, all perverted reverse. Yeah. So here we have one philosophy, there is other philosophy. But ultimately the boss is actually servant. They think they are boss of boss. And that boss is even more temporary. Okay. So if you are, for example, I was talking about this government, Prime Minister of Australia, the ministers and others we call servant, government servant. These people's job is more permanent than that other guy, highest one. In material world, you somehow work so hard, become bossa, and in no time they will remove you. Even if you say, I want to become servant of this government, that also not available. Correct? Everybody will keep you away like a dead body. Yeah. So when you come to the spiritual one, that's what we're saying. Dasanu dasa. You become Dasanu dasa, those who have taken shelter of Krishna's feet, lotus feet. Gopi Bharate Padakamaler Dasanu dasa. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching in Chaitanya Charitamrita will see, become Dasanu dasa. And because and these servants of Lord, they are so compassionate. They don't think themselves any advance. They say, here is a nice Hayagriva Prabhu, Dasa, Prabhu. So let us send him. He is very nice. He is fully dedicated. Unlike other children, he comes to Śrīmad Bhāgavatam every day. He is listening to me. Let us send him. He is a very qualified person. Like he may not be giving speeches by sitting on Vyasasana, but he is listening very nicely, assimilating the knowledge. Then from that, if there is any doubt, he will ask you a question. Asking a question is not easy, by the way. If you are asking a question, that means you are actually, hearing very carefully, and if there is any, gap, and he will clarify. Ask a question. If you are not hearing, there is no question to ask. So those who are hearing can ask. Or those who have fully, perfectly understood, they are happy with, they don't have to ask. So like this can happen. Yeah. Is that clear? Yeah. So yes, become Dasanu Dasa. In Bhakti, that is the highest position. In materially, Basana is the highest position. So you choose what you want. Here, Dasanu is always eternally happy. So there, temporary, the most temporary position on earth is the highest position. You study in any country, the most temporary is that highest position. Because in this material world, everybody wants that highest position. That is why they won't allow you to be there in that position for too long. Even if you somehow manage to be there, lot of misery, lot of trouble. You have to be ruthless to be there. Yeah. Okay? Anyways, so take shelter, become Krishna consciousness, take care of father, take care of mother. Once you married, And if you have got children or a wife, take care of them, make them Krishna consciousness, make your life successful, their life successful, and also people around successful, then achieve the highest success. Like, be happy. Correct? Okay, Hare Krishna. Alright, so exactly 9 o'clock. So time for Mahaprasada to honor. So please go and enjoy and honor Prasada. Hare Krishna.